our ladies keeping it in real estate, keeping it real in real estate. Um, I just want to connect with everybody, see how your week is going, like how you feeling about the market right now, and then we'll get into our subject for today, which is the benefits of working with a mortgage broker and working with a buyer's agent. Um, right on the tail end of this NAR stuff, which is starting to get a little less scary and a little more interesting. So as we get closer to July, right?
Right.
So yeah. So who wants to, Felicia, you want to tell us what's going on with you? How's it going with you and what you're seeing in the market? Sorry, my hand.
Well, I'll give you personal knowledge because, as you probably know, I put my house on the market last week.
Yes.
Oh,
And after a full day of showing, it was under contract the same day.
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what happened to us. Yeah.
Yep. So people will look at the news and people are still saying nobody's buying, the interest rate's too high, whatever.
That's propaganda to get people out of the market.
I'm just saying,
Right.
that's exactly what it is. Because people are still, I mean, like I was out of my house literally all day from the first lady made an appointment at 8 a.m. I don't even know why. Like, who's even functioning at 8 a.m.? But they were here. So, but yeah, it went under contract same day. So, I mean, for us here, that's the nature of still what's going on in the market.
Right.
People are
Yeah.
still buying, people are still selling, things are going
Yeah.
under contract, it's moving forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. What's going on with you, Aisha?
Let's see. So I had vacation last week, and Sarah and I hosted our first fish fry, which was great.
I wish I had come to that.
Yes, it was really good.
The fish was
And,
amazing.
Was it?
Yes, Aisha.
yeah, like I want to do it once a quarter now. Like I want to turn this into like a happy hour.
Okay. Well, I'll put it on the books for me. Ain't
I'm
nothing
just
but a
saying.
drive.
Oh yeah,
Ain't
definitely.
nothing but a
definitely.
drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really good.
Good.
I did get a house under contract for a buyer last week, and I had a listing go live last week. I've got some listings coming up I've been doing preparation for. So just like Felicia said, people are making a move. So I just always trying to keep the pipeline going, staying in contact with everybody. And I spent some time in the Keller Williams office, went to this vendor fair. It was really cool. I got to be around my Keller Williams family again, because between juggling that, Marriott, and everything going on. But yeah, life's been pretty good. I'm ready to get rid of this little sinus thing though. And I didn't work out a lot last week, so I've been back in. I worked out this morning. It was great. So weather's really nice. So good stuff coming up.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Well, my birthday was yesterday, guys. So
Yes, happy birthday.
Another 365 days. You made it.
Right.
It was a day. It was nice. You know, I didn't do too much. Spent it with my kids and family and whatnot. It was nice. You know, just time to reflect, another year older, and you know, kind of tweaking goals and figuring out not necessarily what to do, because obviously I'm doing what I want to do, but just figuring out what changes that I might want to make, reflecting. I'm going to go back into journaling. I definitely said that's my goal for this year, to really get into it.
Yeah.
And so it was a pretty chill day. I'll be in Atlanta this weekend. I will finally officially be an aunt, thank God. My brother's daughter. So baby shower this weekend, and while you know, I'm with family and friends in Atlanta for my birthday weekend as well. You know, I lived there for 10 years, so it's like I'm back home. And as far as the market, you know, it's just one of those things. That's all I hear all day. What are interest rates? Interest rates are too high. And I'm like, just buy the house. Like, seriously. I've been doing a lot of following up with people who, Aisha's clients who are houses are trying to get those under contracts with the listings. And obviously, once that happens, it's now let's go buy a house. But, I mean, for the most part, it's still the same thing, grinding, calling people, and just explaining once again, if you're ready, pull the plug. You know, just buy the house. Because, you know, there's no real way around. I actually had a previous client reach out to me because they were thinking about taking money out of their house or doing a refinance. And I'm like, here are your options, you know, but stop looking at the rate, because waiting 4 or 5 months may not necessarily put you in a better position. We realistically can't really
Right.
predict it. You know,
Yeah.
we guesstimate based off of history, but I'm like, you know, just
It's a moving target, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the rate's gonna go down and the home prices are gonna go up. I mean,
Just-
either way they're gonna get their fill.
When the rates go down, the offers get very
Hectic.
competitive.
Yeah.
You win some and lose some. When rates were at 3.5, the offers that I was writing, it was insane. And the offers that sellers were receiving, it was crazy.
Yep.
You have to go so much more over list price to get an offer accepted because there's more people buying because the interest
Yep.
rates are and then the inventory is still short. So
Now
I
is
like
still the opportune time to do it.
oh, definitely.
It's funny you said that.
Sarah
Just-
said something about journaling.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I need to get back into journaling. I was
Don't
thinking
we
that.
all? I think we
Yeah,
all do.
I was doing that really well last year, and then I kind of stopped, and or at least at the minimum affirmations.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I said I need to read a book again. I haven't read a book in a while.
Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about reading books. I was like, I'm going to read one book a month, and I'm still looking at book 1 from January. And every night I'm like, okay, I was supposed to carve out 15 minutes, and I put that back on my calendar too to start Monday. Just 15 minutes in the morning. I have a lot of downtime and just 15 minutes. So yeah, this is like
That's
a
a
New
good one.
Year's for me. So that's how my mind is operating right now. Like
Right.
it's New Year, and so let's, get it
That's a
going.
good one.
I think it's a good to assess at the end, like we're 1 month into the second quarter,
Mhm.
right? So even if you're doing it a month late, like quarterly, there's a book called The 12
Right.
Week Year that talks about breaking your year down into 12 weeks, 4 quarters, and you
Mhm.
set those mini goals, and then you assess how did I do, and then you readjust for the next quarter. And I like that. It's so important. Like that was like a huge epiphany for me because everybody feels so clean and refreshed January 1st, and they're like, I'm gonna get all this done by December 31st. It's like, all right, let's not do that.
And you off the wagon by January 2nd.
Yes, let's not do that.
Unfortunately.
Let's set them 12
Yeah.
week goals, and
Right.
January 1st will occur at least 3 more times in the year, right?
It will.
It will. So and it's a mindset thing for sure.
Yeah.
Um
And what are you up? What have you been up to? We know what
So
you've been up to,
I've
Lisa.
been jazz festivaling. I've been
Mhm.
every year we go to the Seabreeze Jazz Festival down in Panama City Beach, and we have an amazing time. It's a family affair. So we went down there, and I spent a lot of time doing that. I spent a lot of time leading up to that, trying to race to the finish line on a couple of loans.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm in the middle of a field, listening to Cool and the Gang, and I get a call saying, hey, can you do a pre-approval letter for me? I'm like, oh, I can.
Were you on your phone like?
Oh yes, I was on my phone getting stuff done. So I'm always working. And so that was a good time. But then we went home and picked up the grandkids, and now we're right back down in Sandestin area, 30A area, vacationing with the grandkids. But I am still working. So
Right.
yeah. So
Awesome.
have computer will travel. The market is still working. I mean, rates have gone up. They have slowly traversed up because of a lot of the inflation data
Mhm.
and fears that the Fed is going to stay higher longer.
When is the next time
And
for them to lower rates, the Feds, or
well,
adjust or anything?
okay, so we are recording this on May 2nd, and yesterday Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, he spoke. I did not hear what he had to say, but
Mhm.
Whatever he did say, I'm going to go back and listen. Whatever he did say made the market react favorably because the
Mm.
day before the rates they worsened,
Mhm.
and after he spoke, they got better. They
Got it.
got better. But the general consensus is that the Fed may stay higher longer, and that spooks investors because in the end, mortgage rates are a cause and effect of what
Right.
investors are doing with the mortgage bonds,
Right.
right? And if they're afraid that they need to stay fluid in their cash, they're going to sell off these bonds, and the cost of borrowing money or the ability to borrow money becomes more difficult, and that's why we're seeing higher rates. But it's not. I see that as opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? People see rates and they want to pull back, and I'm like, no, now's the time to get in, because that's creating, people are indeed pulling back, and you can still get in and get a good price and get some good negotiations going before the rates drop and you start seeing a flood of buyers
Yep.
in.
And you have
And
to have
thing,
cash on hand.
You got to fight with everybody to get
Yep.
something.
you gotta fight with everybody.
Yep.
So this is still, and the other thing I want to encourage people is, like, when rates are high, stop buying into this smoke and mirror stuff about mortgage rates are too high. Guess what else is high? The yield on your savings account is high.
Right.
If you're
Everything
going to
is that stuff is up. Yeah.
right, like, put that money in a high yield savings account, CDs or something that's going to get you less than more than 0.0001, that run of the mill savings account with the retail brick and mortar bank is getting you. For goodness sakes, like, don't sit there in paralysis. Like, figure
Right.
out another money move,
Right.
because even if you decide you don't want to buy now for one reason or another, then please, for God's sake, make some money. Let your money make money.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Let
And
your
they just
money
have to remember that at the point where they're at this point next year, the rates may be lower.
Exactly.
The house is going to be higher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really,
Yep.
you lost out some, because
Yeah.
you still paying way more for a house a year from now. And
Mhm.
that refinance could have made just a whole bunch of difference if you
It
purchased
could
now.
have.
Yep.
It could have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
okay. Good recap
Well,
of
all right.
everybody's
Now that
week.
we had a nice recap, so let's go ahead and get to the task at hand. Let's talk about mortgage brokers, working with a mortgage broker and working with a buyer's agent. So, who wants to go first? Since I finished
Well,
talking, I'm not.
I was gonna say, well, I
I
will
was the
jump
last one on the
in.
round table, so let's let somebody else go.
Yeah, I'll definitely jump in, because one of my talking points that I do with all of my clients when doing a home buying consultation is to point out why working with a mortgage broker is more beneficial than your standard bank. And I always start with, I have options.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing about that is I'm not a one size fit all broker. I hear out your issues, your needs, your wants, and my job is to pair you with a lender that'll fit your particular needs. We're all different. And I tell them, I have nothing against bank. I have checking and savings accounts. I have those things, car loans through a bank. But when it comes to buying a home, they can't offer you a bunch of different options. They have to operate under different rules. So there's certain things they can't even do that I have the option of doing. And benefit of it as well is another thing I point out to my clients. You don't pay my fee. Where I'm sending you to does. So that's saving you a bunch of money as well. Because that's when I'm pointing out things, the client, that line item, that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 you paid, that was the fee you paid for the person to do your paperwork. Again, that's their job, but if you don't have to worry about coming out of pocket for that, or it being a part of your closing costs, why not go with the person that you have options with?
Right.
And it also makes it easier when shopping. I'm pulling your credit, that one credit pull. You're not having to go to this bank and that bank and this bank and then try to understand why you're getting different options, or the fact that that pre-approval that they gave you didn't include taxes and insurance, because they're not going to go look that up. It's like having your own personal concierge, where the benefit of it for me is to work with you. And I definitely say the second thing that I love the most is you get me directly. You're not getting the automated system, enter the extension, and if it's 5 o'clock, you got to wait.
Right.
Next day, or now it's Saturday and you're at an open house and you want to know if they can change your pre-approval letter, and now you got to wait till Monday and you missed the deal.
Right.
I'm available all the time. I tell my clients, I mean, within reason, but at the same time, if it's something urgent, you call me, I'm on it, because my phone is always in my hand. My laptop is always with me.
Right.
Whether you need to make changes and figure some things out, you're getting me directly to handle that. I make myself extremely available to my clients with a text message. Hey, text me. We're in a world of technology. If I can't pick up, shoot me a message. We'll figure out what it is we need to do. You can't do that at your bank. You just can't. And I think for me, that's like the biggest talking points amongst other things of why working with the mortgage broker is
Mhm.
more beneficial.
Yeah, I've seen it play out where, I worked with a young couple. They went to their bank, and the bank looked at their profile, their credit profile, and their debt to income ratio, and they said, you guys are at least 2 years away from buying a house. I said, well,
Oh, wow.
let me look at it. Let me look at it. I got them in a house in 3 months.
See?
Wow.
Because they didn't offer that specific program. And rather than say to them, you know what, you might be able to do it on this program. We don't offer it. But if you go to a mortgage broker, you might be able to find out the information, and they may be able to help you. Well, I don't understand why they didn't do that. And I don't know if that was lazy, or they were hoping they would just sit there for 2 years and then come back to them.
All
I
of the
don't know.
above.
All of the above. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you're getting a no from the bank, for goodness sakes, please talk to a mortgage broker. We have so many different outside the box options for you. If you're a 1099 or self-employed, and your taxes only show that you make a fifth of what you really make, we've got bank statement loans that can
Mhm.
help you out. We've got USDA, we've got FHA, we've got all these different programs. But sometimes, the banks do banking well.
Right.
And right, they do banking well, and they do some mortgages, but that's all we do. And so
Right.
we can do it with excellence, and we can do it tailored to what you need. I just did a loan for a lady who wanted to buy some investment property. She lives in Florida. She doesn't work right now. She's trying to figure things out, but she's got some money from a divorce. She's got some property in Wisconsin, but she wants to buy another property in Florida. She's like, how can we do this? I said, I think I can help you out. We got her in a DSCR cash out on her property in Wisconsin,
Mhm.
so that she could take that cash and pay cash for a property in Florida, right?
Wow.
And so that's the creative, way of, all right, let's flip it sideways and upside down
Right.
and see what we can do, because there are a lot of lenders out there who will do things that are outside the box, especially if you're an investor. But hey, even if you're looking at a primary residence, a mortgage broker can help you with all different kinds of
Yep.
of,
Right.
of options, right? From down payment assistance, to renovation loans, to your run of the mill. But and we have access to probably some of the best rates and terms out there. So
And you're not going to get all those options always from a bank. And usually, if you
no,
do, they're way more expensive.
yes,
Way,
way more
way.
expensive.
And they don't explain the details to you either.
No.
So you have no clue. And just to go backwards, you guys, I became an LO because I'm still a notary, and I specialized in loan closings. And what made me go into that field were they had no clue what each line item was. They weren't taking that time. And, my clients that hired me were large banks that they knew I was doing the job right, but that's not my job. My job is to
Right.
say, sign here, sign here, sign here. But I'm now going over a closing disclosure, and we're already at the table of, okay, this is what this means, this is what that means. And it's like, you're not going to get that from
And they're
your.
just finding out what they're actually getting at
Yep,
the
and now they're
closing
like
table.
forced into it because we're at the table.
Right.
Nobody wants to say, I mean, I've had people like, hey, that's not what I agreed on. No, but most people are just still going with it because they already had to go through the trenches just to get here, and it's
Mhm.
unfair.
Right.
And it's unfair practice, quite honestly, because there are rules and regulations in place to make sure they're knowing what they're signing before they get to signing.
Correct.
But it's crazy out there.
Disclosure.
Yep. Mhm.
Disclose, discuss, discover.
Yep.
Yeah,
All the
well,
things.
with that, let's switch it on over to the buyer's agent in the transaction. Which one of you ladies want to take that over, the advantages and why it's so important?
Aisha got it.
Okay, well, I guess we'll keep it along with the disclosure part.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
mortgage broker, a real estate broker, and home inspector, anybody with a license pretty much have some compliance and disclosure responsibilities. There are things,
Compliance is so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Compliance, yes.
there are things that we can find out because we have access to the resources and the way that we communicate with other professionals, as far as, you know, the cooperating broker or someone else or the city to find out about if there's, you know, a septic permit on file. But we have the resources and we're used to going out to discover that information and how to disclose it to you to make sure that you're safe and that you understand what you're getting into with the property. Agency relationship is pretty much the big thing on buyer's agent. Kind of like, I tell people, kind of like in a court of law, you have plaintiff and defendant. So the plaintiff is not going to go to the defendant attorney and ask them questions and, you know, look for representation. Everybody has their own side. You have buyer side, you have seller side. I am the person that's like the liaison for my buyers. I'm the advocate for you for what you want in your offer and things you want out of the property. I communicate with the cooperating broker that's representing the seller. I'm not talking to the seller, you know, they do have situations with dual agency. I don't practice that as much. There are situations where it's possible, but really you do want to make sure that you have guidance. You want to have someone there to also be your therapist, because buying a house can be emotional. Selling a house, you may have things attached to it. It's just so many legal things involved as well. As a homeowner, when you sell a house, you have responsibilities, even if you don't work with a realtor. And without working with one, you may not know what those things are. Disclosure forms, for one. What is that? Why are we required to do it? How do you fill it out?
Where do you even get it from?
Yes. You know, then you have a closing attorney. You know, we have access to the ones we use, make sure it's a clear and marketable title. Like I heard someone investor say something to me the other day. They bought a wholesale deal and they couldn't sell it on the flip side because they found out the title wasn't clear.
And let me just jump in there with that issue, because those wholesalers, and I'm gonna just take her off topic real quick, are a whole nother thing, and they should be glad they have you for representation, because my husband and I were looking at a wholesale deal out in the country, and I said to the guy up front, I'm an agent, which in my head should have told him I'm going to do some due diligence. He was trying to sell two houses on one parcel, and he didn't know that the parcels couldn't be separated, because who called the county and was like, what can we do? And they're like, absolutely not.
Exactly.
And he said, well, you can just go get another address. Sir, it doesn't work like that. Like,
no.
So you have to have somebody out there who knows who to call, when to call, all those things that you were just saying, because they're not going to tell you.
Yeah, we're going to go the extra mile, because it's for you and for ourselves. You know, I mean, you definitely want to make sure you know what's going on. I've heard situations with people tell me previous experiences, and I'm just in awe in the things that their last realtor did or didn't do. You'll be surprised of some of the things people do that they know is not right, you know.
Right.
So yeah, have a realtor. I mean, that's your partner. You need a realtor, you need a mortgage broker, you need to work with people that specialize in what you want to get out of your whole journey.
Right.
Meet all your expectations. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
And I'm going to piggyback off of you with disclosure too, because like you said, we have access sometimes to information that the public does not. And here recently, I've just seen a lot of stuff that probably should have been disclosed up front, but you know, once you start making phone calls to dig a little deeper to see what the deal is. I had this lady that was interested in this house. House was beautiful, was wondering why the price was what the price was. So I called the agent, and she proceeds to tell me about the $40,000 solar panels on the roof that the seller was not going to pay for, that the buyer was going to have to take over the
with some solar panels. That is a word in
the
my
seller
head.
was not going to pay. And she's like, well, the payment's only $184 and it's the same as your light bill. And I'm like, man, like you forcing $184 bill on somebody? Like that wasn't something that they planned to take over some solar panel. Like you should have just put that in the description. And that way you could have saved everybody some time and effort.
Right. And then that actually could affect the debt to income ratio.
Thank you. Like who didn't think of that?
Because you're talking about more
than those solar panels are loans.
She kept telling me the payment, and I kept saying, but how much is owed? Like, is it $10,000? She was like, oh, they just got into it, so there's $40,000 left.
Insane.
$40,000. Like that's a whole nother. That's a car and a half a house payment. But I mean, that is again why you need an agent to try to do some of that digging for you to get some of the answers that you need. I think a couple of other things that you kind of said, some of the main reasons why you need somebody out there to help you is that, again, you need somebody to, one, help you assess what you're looking for in a home, because people are always on I need 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. And ultimately what they end up buying is a 3-bedroom ranch when they wanted a 5-bedroom, 2-story house. Yeah. So we are there to kind of help narrow that down and dig into that for you so you can get the house ultimately that you really want. And that just ties in with assisting you within your budget. Yep. The budget that the mortgage broker has given you, not the one that you think that you can afford in your head, because they are different. They're always different. We also will, you need a broker, a buyer's agent, so that one, you can, be able to get into these properties that you like. You have to remember, as it was said before, that the seller's agent is working for the seller. I'm like Aisha, I don't do a lot of dual agency. I prefer everybody to have their own representation when they're going in there, looking at a property, just to make sure you have somebody that's looking out the best interest for you. We are also there to do things like help look at inspection reports to make sure the biggest things that are being addressed on an inspection report are being addressed. I mean, you might want the air filters cleaned, and meanwhile, we're looking at, the plumbing issue that's happening and the water that's in the basement. So the things that are high dollar and important are the things that we should be looking for, and kind of teach you that along the way as well. We also handle a majority of the paperwork. I mean, like Sarah said, like where are you going to get the paperwork from if you're trying to do it yourself? And do you know how to properly fill out the paperwork?
Yes.
Have you read through a contract? Do you know what it even says?
Closing disclosure, selling disclosures, HOA, restrictive covenants.
All those things are important, and they are, a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, do not know where to go get that stuff from. Even if they find it, trying to dig through what you can and can't do, what's in the contract, what's not in the contract, what you can do per the contract. I mean, I just think all those are big things and reasons why you need somebody to represent your best interests at the end of the day. And one of the bigger things too is they might need help with that loan application process. They might need the referral for somebody. They may need to know that XYZ Bank is probably not the best for what it is that they're going to do, that they might need to speak to a mortgage broker to be able to get access to some of the different, things that
or
are
in your
they're eligible for.
Or in your experience, an approval letter from XYZ Bank means absolutely nothing, because they never close the deal.
And how to take that letter, how to make an offer. Like, how do you make an offer? How does that work? It's more than just, I want to buy it for $300,000. There's several terms that go along with the offer, and how to present that, how to make your offer win in a competitive situation, how to negotiate in your due diligence period.
That's that is the two things that we have in common the most. Well, three, between a mortgage broker and a realtor, and especially those that partner together, like how we do with each other, is that negotiation power. Whether it's me negotiating with whichever lender to get a lower interest rate. We have lenders that'll give us points to make the deal go through, to help our borrowers get into that house. Or, getting that program or registering with that program in your city so you can get that $10,000 for that down payment assistance program. Your banker is not going to do that. Another thing is, like you said, the assistance with paperwork. It is a lot. Loan documents.
It is a lot of paperwork.
Are minimum 150 sheets of paper of stuff that is all legal jargon that people have no clue. And same with your real estate documents. It's not as many, but it's things that you don't understand. Even down,
I mean, it's 17 pages of just writing a basic offer.
I've seen the new disclosure form is another page or two longer. It has much more things, and I'm sure after this NAR settlement, buyer
gonna be-
agency agreement and offer to purchase is going to get longer. So
You know, let me make you laugh. I had a client from last year, was a couple buying their parents' house. They were doing the loan with me. They didn't have a real estate agent. At this time, I was a realtor in Florida at that time. And when he sent me over the contract, because they were obviously, you know, family under contract, and I said, well, even though I'm not your realtor, I'm your mortgage broker. I do have the expertise in it, but I'm just going to point out two things. One, your legal description is not your address.
Mhm.
That is wrong. Two, the document that you're using is 2 years outdated. This is not valid. I could
that's
say,
a
hey,
big
use this
thing.
form. This is
Yep.
what this needs to say. Again, you know, it's parent to child, a parent to their children buying the house. No, I'm not about to say, hey, I got to be your realtor now. But it was little things like that. This contract is not even valid. And luckily enough, it was family, but your bank is not going to tell you, they're not going to tell you that. They
No,
don't.
and a lot of times these investors too get their hands on a North Carolina, legal contract document and try to fill it in. And like you said, the red flags are on every other page. Sir, no, that's not right. But I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
It's like, it's just little things that they, you know, they don't see,
Right.
but we do. And that's why it's important to have a mortgage broker, have a buyer's agent.
Yep.
Ones that team up together, levels of communication.
Right, yeah, the communication.
Communication is like, it's huge.
It's
You
huge.
don't want to be walking around in la la land and, oh, they got it, but they're not following up. They're not asking questions, or you're getting to it's 2 days before closing and now they're asking you for 10 other documents because
Right.
they wrapped up with the 50 million calls they're getting through the automated system. They just
Correct.
don't have that support and that care and concern. And
And I
it's,
think even a bigger piece is your buyer's agent's relationship with other agents in your
Absolutely.
community.
Professionalism and
Correct.
skill and care, efficiency,
Correct.
filling out the contract all the way, how you
Correct.
submit it, how you
Yeah,
type
because
up.
I had a contract. I got these guys through this veteran company that I deal with, and they had already written an offer on this one property way out in the country, like way. But I ended up, and they wrote an offer, and the people didn't even respond. That's how bad the offer was. So when I got them, I looked at who had the house listed, and I was like, oh, I know her. Let me call her and see what the deal is. Wrote the offer. They accepted the offer. And now we're trying to get it to the closing table. So that relationships makes a difference, because I called her up and she was like, oh yeah, we got that last one closed. Let's see what we can do for this one.
Yep.
So she had to talk to her sellers, of course, because our offer was still way lower than what it was listed at. And at this point, it's appraised way lower than that, but that's a whole nother ball game. But she is somebody that will pick up the phone and call me and just say, what is it that we're going to do about this, and not, have an adversarial relationship, which some of these agents do when it's not working out to their advantage.
That's another one too, comparative market analysis.
Mhm.
How do you know how to price your house right when you put it on the market? Are you pricing it too high? Is it going to sit on the market too long? What kind of things you need to do to prepare to make it
Correct.
attractive to buyers?
Unless you know my husband,
right.
because he swore my house was worth way more than it was. And
it's not, look,
I'm gonna give him
believe
back.
it or not, attention to the public. It's
I'm
not
just
what
saying.
you want. It's what the market value is.
Well, he need a
It's
different
not what
agent
you want.
because
That's just what it is.
I'm just like, it is what it is. I'm just
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he gonna come in and tell you how you need to price that.
I
After
will.
all these years of real estate experience, right?
Right,
I'm just saying. Yeah, he has a whole long list of stuff that we could have, should have, would have done, and I'm just like shaking my head, like, okay,
Wow.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but it's really, buying a house is kind of like a game. You got everybody in a position, and if anyone messes up, it messes up the entire play.
and you need to have somebody who can manage that whole process.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. So,
I just want to wrap it up by just encouraging people to ensure that you're working with somebody that you trust, that you feel is educating you and empowering you, is listening to you, and is working hard for you. All of these points come down to basic mutual respect and trust, in the professionalism and the knowledge
right.
of the person that you're working with. So always don't just rush into a relationship with a mortgage broker or with a realtor without being comfortable that they are truly your
Mhm.
advocate. Everyone here in this call's goal is to be your lender and your realtor for life,
Right.
because you never know where life may lead.
Right.
This deal may not be your last deal, and you need to understand that you have somebody in your corner no matter what.
And that is
Mhm.
absolutely true, because I have one client that whenever I post anything online that's like a major life event, he will call me up and be like, "What are you doing?"
Mm,
Just like, "What do you mean?" But
mhm,
he's watching and he
right.
sees what's going on.
Mm,
He knows, I mean, he knows what's going on around here with family, kids, whatever. But whenever I
mhm.
post a life event, he always calls me. He and his wife, I've sold them 3 houses,
Yeah,
3 houses thus far.
yeah.
And he still will just call me just out of the blue for nothing more than a kid's birthday party, just because. So those are the kind of clients that you want and you
Okay,
want to hold on to.
right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. And everybody have a great week. Once again, this is Women Keeping It Real Estate.
Hmm.
And please give us a like, share, follow, hit the notification button so you know when our next episode is going to be posted to YouTube. And leave a couple comments below. We'd love to hear from everybody, maybe what your experiences have been with realtors or mortgage brokers. Just get the discussion kind of started. We'd love to talk back and forth with y'all. So
And if there's a
until then,
topic that you want to discuss,
yeah,
let us
even
know
as a
that
time.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody have a good week and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys
Bye.
later.
Bye.